You have the museums there. And each town in Montana has its own like smaller museum. So like Deer Lodge has like a prison museum. There's car museums.
Yeah, if you've ever driven through Montana, you understand that the state of Montana thinks everything is historical. There's historical this, historical that, historical blah, the historical blah. Everything is historical in that whole goddamn state. And the thing is, in the grand scheme of it, it's not even that historical because it's actually
We
like
can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
what's Bigfoot possibility?
Clink.
Clink.
Hey, man. It's
How
been
we
about a
doing?
week. Yeah. How have you been?
Oh, perfect and getting better, you know. It's
Good.
still winter, although the
Oh,
weather has not been showing the winter kind of style. It was beautiful today, probably like I think it got to 60s here.
no way.
Oh, it's been really, really cold in the mornings and like the evenings. And when I mean really cold, I mean like 30s, low 30s, and then it heats up to like 60. It's been huge shifts.
Nice, nice. I get that. I hate that. I hate that about Oregon, especially fall and spring. You leave the house wearing like jeans, and you're like, why did I not put shorts on? And then you're headed home, and you're like, oh, I should have put jeans on today, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not. I like about Montana is like even when it's like 50, you're like, I'm still going to wear jeans because it's like tits cold in the morning, and like the 50s, it's nice, but it's not like I want to take my clothes off 50.
Yeah. That's why you see so many people with the classic kind of Oregonian kind of attire is it will be like sweatpants, a jogger, or like a leggings if you're a female. And then you'll have a shirt. You'll typically have some sort of lighter, longer sleeve shirt, or it could be like a hoodie, like I'm wearing today. And then you'll have a bigger, more poofier coat. Oftentimes, the puffers are the ones that get used the most.
Well, and those are good at wicking water over there.
Yeah. And so that's like classic because what you'll see in the morning, all those people really bundled up. They'll even have like gloves on, or they'll have like some sort of head thing for their face. And then by like 12, they're down to that undershirt. Maybe it's just a sweatshirt. Maybe it's like a nice lighter top. And then they put that puffer back on by roughly about 5, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah, makes sense. I go jeans, typically shoes. I'll do like a shirt, a sweatshirt of some sort, a vest, and then a jacket over the vest. I think that's a good look for me. Good Montana feel. You need to keep that core warm with that vest.
Keep the core warm. I rock the vest. I
I know
rock
you.
the vest for sure. Although lately I dress like I'm about to go for like a run of some sort. So either a run or a lift. That's my attire lately. You don't know if I'm coming, going, or if I still haven't decided if I'm going to do it yet.
Fuck. I like that. No, yeah, man. Tonight I was driving home, and God, another beautiful sunset out here in Montana. It was one of those ones you gotta take a picture of. So if you guys are watching out on the social medias, you'll see it live if you follow the Rougarou. I've been kind of blowing up the Facebook. I don't know if you've realized that, but I've linked basically our Instagrams, Wandering Ways Instagrams, to Facebook to where you guys are going to see some more content on that. I don't know if Mark has yet, but
I mean, I'm not on Facebook, but
yeah.
I'm not on Facebook very much. I have one, but it's really just there to like show my family that I'm alive.
What I don't like is on Instagram, I'm sharing the stories to Facebook, right? Like I can share because I have multiple accounts, and we've talked about this before. If you want to follow my Jeep, follow my Jeep. You want to follow my nature stuff, follow my nature stuff, right? but I can get them all to post to my Zach Gray, that's who I am on Facebook, like that story. Every single account can. But I can't like take one picture on one account and have it go to like all accounts, So it's like if I take like a picture of like the Jeep, that can't just automatically go to the story of all my stories. No, just Facebook, like, but not Instagram, even though they're like the same thing. I don't get it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't get social media very much.
No, I know.
It's ironic, but I saw a sunset the other day. I almost took a picture of it and sent it to you and said better than Montana.
Oh, really? It was a good one?
Oh, it was actually a really good one. I was driving home and it was above the little mountains that we have here, the Siskiyous, but it was nice. Good oranges, had some nice red in there, kind of a little bit more of a purplish red, the way that it was in the clouds.
Oh, nice.
But it was very, very, very good.
Yeah, here for the video watchers.
Yeah, see, that's very on par with the sunset I was going to show you.
Just the the different kind of colors where it's like red and gold all the way to the mountains. That's one thing I do like about Billings. It's like that sunset, especially in the winter, is setting right over the Beartooths. So you get those beautiful, especially when you get the clouds like that, right? The way they're refracting that light, back down. And you get those here. And I like that, like you can tell when you're out this way because it is like you see further. So the sky goes for days kind of thing. Big sky country, but it's, I think too, because there's a lot of like big hills that you are on here, like we don't really realize it, but like where I live in Billings is just a little bit higher in elevation than like downtown, but because we're just gradually going up this big hill, and they move these just big prairies. That's, just wow, this land was formed. And it's kind of cool because you get to see like, some nights, especially in the summer, you're like go up to the rims here. It's like there's the sunset over the mountains, but then you look even south and then there's the Bighorns and there's a thunderstorm down there, and you see the lightning and that, but the sunset over here, and then over here, nothing, just the day.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That is very on par for that.
Yeah. Well, you'll get, I mean, big news. And I was trying to talk to you. You were making some granola because you're a weirdo like that.
I wasn't making granola. I was making granola bars, and they turned out amazing. And I can't wait to get them in the fridge. Which actually, I think I was meant to do that right now.
Would you like to take a quick break?
No, you talk for a minute.
Oh, you want me to talk?
Yeah, it's gonna take me a second.
Oh gosh, guys, he just left the room up on me. No, we'll talk about like the things I like to do because you guys listened to the solo episode where Mark talked about the things he likes to do. So, in my free time when I'm not like grinding out on work, because I think you guys, one good thing is to like grind it out with work. So you just go like 110% with everything you do. But is to find that free time, go into nature and find those moments where you can just give yourself, times to relax. And he's back. So we're done with that. No, how is the granola? I mean, how did you make it?
The granola bars. They're granola bars. I want to make sure this is very clear, not just granola. I would make it a little bit different, but these I'm like trying to get into an actual like bar kind of shape. Surprisingly easy if anyone else wants to do this. All you really need are like oats, rice cereal, or as the kids call it, Rice Krispies, dried fruit of your choice. So for me, I went with pomegranate and cranberries.
Good choice.
I got chia seeds in there. I got hemp seeds in there, pumpkin seeds, and I got some sort of nut, and I'm kind of blanking on it.
Nice. I mean, they sound good. I mean, what you should do is on your blog, that Unathletic Trainer, you should put your recipes for those who want to check it out.
Well, I wanted to do a test run for yeah,
You
this is
said,
literally the first time that I'm making them. So
yeah, but you
before I put
literally,
anything out to the world, I want to know if they turn out.
you sat down at your computer tonight and were like, wife me up. I know how to make granola. So I mean, I mean, you advertised it to me like you know what you're doing. So sorry that I'm trying to tell people to get your recipe.
Hey, it's good. I got honey in there to help it all stick, so it's all pretty good stuff.
Oh, good.
Um, that who knows? Next time I'm out in Montana and I need a good trail bar, maybe it's going to be these granola bars.
Yeah,
Maybe a
well,
little bit different, but maybe instead of cranberries, it'll be dried blueberries, but it'll be something like that.
you crazy guy, and I was just getting into it, and I was going to talk about kind of what we had planned because before even we started recording this tonight, I was trying to talk to you, but we are kind of both busy in our own realms, and just it didn't come up. But we booked a chalet,
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna be pretty sweet to do the chalet.
and if you guys don't know what a chalet is, look up Granite Peak Chalet in Glacier National Park. And that is where we will be on July 6th, me and the Reverend and the Wandering Ways podcast. We'll probably do some social media stuff while we're up there. I was thinking, maybe some record some stuff. I don't think there's cell service, so we won't be able to go live or anything like that.
Probably
But
not live, but there's a picture on my phone. It's not gonna do it justice, but keep
oh,
talking. I'm gonna get it up.
it's beautiful. I mean, these chalets are old park, kind of like hostels up in the mountains. And I think this one, for example, is on the Continental Divide. So a lot of people who actually stop at this one are doing the Continental Divide Trail. And one of the trails that you can take to get here is from Waterton National Park up in Canada, and it's the Glacier National Park Canada kind of Peace Park, International Peace Park as they call it. And a lot of people do that hike. That's a 24-mile-an-hour hike, or 24-mile-an-hour, 24-mile hike to get
24
there.
miles per hour.
Yeah, it's a fast hike.
That's moving too. That's like moving.
That's like Usain Bolt running full speed.
Yeah, that's like moving.
But no, it's a beautiful chalet. It's right up on top of the mountains, kind of like a Swiss German Alps, one of those type kind of houses you see up at top of these mountains. And the Sperry Chalet, which is the other chalet in Glacier, actually burned down. And it's more expensive. So if you're wondering, they're like $80 more per person to do it. But I think it was worth it. I think it was a good grab for us. They even make dinner up there. So like, in the springtime, they'll send us a menu and we'll be able to select our food if we
That's
want.
nuts. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about it, but or we can bring our own, and there's a kitchen that you can use up there. So there is options. So it's kind of cool. I'm really excited to do it. Because we got
It would be cool because it's right up my alley. It's essentially taking a hostel and a mountain and putting them together, which is like two of my favorite things.
But you want to know even something better, Reverend? The hike that I think we will take to get there is the Highline Trail.
See, even better.
The other two are really like 3,000-foot elevation gains.
What are they?
Like 3,000-foot elevation gains.
Oh, that's in how much time though?
It's 4 miles. Those ones are 4 miles. So I would
3,000 feet elevation and 4 miles. Damn.
I would assume that's very similar to the Hawaii, what we did. I think that was like 2,200 elevation gain, but that, especially that one part where you're just going up, I think it would be similar to that. But the reason for that is you basically start at, I'm going to miss the name of it, and it's not, maybe it's Grinnell, the Grinnell Glacier, but there's a glacier, there's the hiking trail, not Cracker Lake, but the one that goes straight from Many Glacier. Like we went left to go to Cracker Lake, and there's the one that goes straight, and then there's right, and you go to Iceberg Lake. The one that goes straight, it's that hike. You take that and go up to get to it, or you take the hike from the going to Sun Road where the like that last bend is where
Yeah, there's a really tight bend.
that's the one you park. That's the trail.
Yeah.
So they recommend actually when you do these chalets to take the shuttle system. So
makes sense.
we'll figure that out because you can go from either side of the park. And then or the Hidden Lake hike, and I was like, or not Hidden Lake, but the Highline Trail, and I was like, oh my god, Mark.
Yeah, the Highline, because that's the end of the Highline Trail is at that little bend that they're telling you to start at. So now it makes sense that you can do it. Just that adds a lot more distance to your day.
Yeah, it's about 8 miles if you do Highline, but it's easy, moderate hiking versus strenuous as the other ones were.
Yeah, I could see it where it's longer distance, but it's not as steep in those parts.
Well, you're starting off higher up.
Yeah, you get a warm up.
Yeah.
You don't have to do your calisthenics in the parking lot just to get warm to go uphill.
Right, exactly. Exactly. But that's not all we got in store for you guys this summer, because we got a summer of plans. I haven't even sent you the list yet because I was too afraid to send it to you. But leading up to that, we'll be all over Montana. We'll be in the Yellowstone region, we'll be in the Eastern Montana region, and we'll be in the Western Montana region, hit some great things that we've talked about before. So I thought, I'm on Facebook, I'm on these Facebook groups, I hear questions, I'm answering questions all day long because I feel like I can help with my travels. I love helping people. I love talking about my travels. I loved when I was a park ranger at Pompey's Pillar talking to people about travels and experiences, because the more we get to know about each other, the better we are as a society. And part of that, is doing things like today. If you probably read the title, we're talking about, breaking down Montana essentially and telling you what all there is to do, because everyone's like, I'm going to Glacier, I'm going to Yellowstone. Well, what do I do in between? Or I want to see Eastern Montana because it's the most remote place in the world,
Yeah, and to quote a great video, it's like, and you thought you knew Montana.
That's a great video that I haven't seen in a while. It's false, so just if you guys watch it, but it's on YouTube, and they spell Montana like Montanuah, and I think that's the video, and you'll find it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a guy making fun of a bunch of random facts about Montana that if you've never been and you're just like uneducated, you go like, really, I had no idea about that with Montana.
Yeah.
But you only need like half a brain to realize that it's fake.
Well, yeah, I think like in the first few minutes, and Germany was cut out of Montana.
Germany was founded in Montana.
Yeah, right.
Before that, it was just an empty hole in Europe that smelled like tulips and repression. That's like the fact or something.
Right. No, it's a good one. And there's some good content that comes out of this state. I'm not gonna lie. Like Yellowstone, that's filmed down in Darby, Montana, over in the Bitterroot Valley. Get some good content over there. But it's good. How do you want to break into this? Do you want to start with the East, the West?
Well, I guess a great way to jump into it is to jump into the Montana breakdown is let's say I have never been to Montana before.
Okay.
I want to make the trip out. What section would you recommend to me first?
Well, I guess the typical section everyone really recommends with Montana is west or east, right? East or west. And west is typically the go-to. I decided to break it down into 3 sections. You got like west, central, and east. So your western side was going to be your Kalispell, your Whitefish, your Missoula, your Butte, right? Kind of everything on that side of the Continental Divide. And the reason for this, I think, is one, how the mountains change and how the valleys kind of change over there. It's more like valley, mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain, where from like, the central division, which I call from like Helena, Butte, Great Falls, Lewistown, Bozeman, Livingston, those towns kind of fall in that. It's more larger valleys open, and then out in eastern Montana, it's more grasslands and the prairie. So kind of that. And I would recommend the West, right? I think you would too. The thing about the West is you could break it up even more because people will spend just time up around the Glacier area, which is like the Kalispell region, which there's a lot to do up there. You know, you got Whitefish Lake, there's the ski resort there, there's Flathead Lake, they have like Wild Horse Island, Big Arm, Finley Point, West Shore, Yellow Bay, and those are all state parks on Flathead Lake. You got Logan, you got Thompson Falls, all great places up in northwestern Montana to go check out and do. There's parks there, and that's one cool thing about this state is there's a lot of good state land opportunities, national forest opportunities, state forest opportunities, all that. There's a lot of public land, and this state has been so for public land. You know, you got to thank guys like Governor Bullock, you know, who really fought first allow, you know, the state land to have state land, and like Governor Schweitzer, who, you know, one of his big things was when fishing the rivers is like fishermen in this state have access to the high water mark on the river. So wherever that water goes the highest, that's public land. You as a landowner do not own our rivers. You can't touch them. You can't do anything with them. They are the state. I wish they could figure something out like that with hunting, because you as the landowner don't own the deer or elk, and they try to. You know, you have the Koch brothers that park their trucks across, you know, public roads so that they can block the elk in, or hunters from getting to the elk. Yeah, it's fucked. But you know, we're not talking about that. Or if you're in the Missoula area, right? You're spending time. Go ahead, get into it.
I just want to point out there's one park up in that western, kind of northwestern area that is just an absolute doozy of a park, and that's the Ten Commandments Park.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well,
the park that keeps getting bigger every time I see it.
Well, I want to argue, you know, you and I started traveling to Montana. You know, I grew up here, but you and I started traveling to that region of Montana, the Glacier region, starting in 2015. You know, that's 7 years.
I know. That's actually, when you think about it, like, wow.
We're getting old.
I knew that part.
But it is. But every year, this park has grown. It literally started as a shack, and not even a shack. I don't even think the shack was there the first
I think it was like a tent that like someone would come and put up every day or something.
Yeah. And it was like they had 2 or 3 billboards.
Yeah.
It's fine. Great. You know, you're driving up the road anyway, you see, especially in Montana, you'll see on a lot of the highways, the 10 Commandments. People put them up. Or God, this is God's Valley, or just different things like that. And the whole drive up there, you see it, especially coming from Sealy, that valley.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a good park. And I swear to God, now there's 30 fucking billboards, there's signs, there's flashing lights, there's
for all I know, next time I see it, there's going to be like a ride.
Maybe we'll have to do that just for the wanderers. No, that is it. But you also bring up some other good parks. You know, you got like Salmon Lake State Park.
Yeah.
You have like the Blackfoot River up there. You have what lake is that?
I mean, to be fair, you haven't even technically mentioned Sealy, which you know a lot about.
And Sealy's my favorite. That's why I didn't mention it. I'm giving away my secrets. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, you have the Sealy Swan Valley, and those aren't even that popular in comparison to like the Flathead. You know, you have the on your drive up from Missoula to Flathead, you have the Garden of 10,000 Buddhas.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that might be something you and I need to check into, because I know for your mental health that's needed, right?
Well, the thing is, Vince, Phil, and I were going to do that spot, but my phone caught on fire that day. So we had no phone, and we tried going and getting it fixed, and it was a whole debacle. Let's just say, but end of the day, I did not have a phone, and we had to get back to Oregon. So, so I missed it, and I keep forgetting about that spot.
No, that's one I want to do. But the reason it's hard for me to do it, because I'm never on that road, right? I'm never going from Missoula to Kalispell. But a lot of people are, and I think that's why it is kind of famous. And you see it over there. And there's even like a good Jeep. One of the only certified Jeep trails in Montana is over in the Kalispell region, and that's something big that I know people like to do, is those OHV trails. But yeah, Sealy's great, Swan's great. That whole valley is great. The Blackfoot River, the Clark's Fork River. St. Regis is even a really cool town. Libby's an interesting town. Eureka is an interesting town. And I say interesting because they're these like logging towns in northwestern Montana that's really remote. So they're interesting. They're like a pole bridge, you know. Mark's been to pole bridge. Then you kind of get like the southwestern, and they call it like Golden County over there, and like that kind of stuff. And so you have like Anaconda Butte. You know, Butte is really cool because it's the old mining town. It was the richest hill in America at one point. Larger, like it was one of the most populous cities in America at one point. And they have the Berkeley Pit, which is that acidic water from all the mine tails.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was once the one of the more populated cities in America. And now it's just a pit of toxic waste.
And you can go tour that pit.
Yeah. I mean, some people may be into it. I don't want to discard it. It could be very cool. I just don't think it's my thing, so I may not put that much time into trying to get.
Well, if you're in Butte, there's two things I recommend for you. Then you can jump on over, you know, kind of going towards Anaconda there and go to Fairmont Hot Springs. They're one of the more hotel-like hot springs in the state. They're really nice. They're larger, a lot of conventions, you know, that big convention center out there. There's a golf course out there, large hot springs pool. They even have a slide that goes in the pool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's you don't.
I wonder how hot the water is, because you know it could be very alarming to just go like splashing into very hot water.
The tube is hot, and you walk inside. Like the slide starts on the inside pool, and goes to the outside pool. And the outside pool sits at like I want to say like 90 to 100 probably, and then they have a hot pool out there too.
I was gonna say, like, that must be like how almost every like lobster or crab feels, where they just get shoved into a boiling pot. Yeah, and then it's like, oh my god, I'm burning.
No, it's not like that. You would like Fairmont, but you also, I feel like you wouldn't like Fairmont.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's one of the over commercialized ones.
Yeah, for sure.
But you like the golf aspect, so I feel like you're down to be like, yeah, I'll go play around and then hot spring. So
true.
And then
I mean, there's a lot of cool shit out there in western Montana. So, but speaking of some cool
you're gonna
shit,
go here, huh?
Yeah, it's time to do some cool shit in nature. I got two this week. One's a picture and one's a video. The picture is really cool, at least I thought so. Thought I'd share this one. This is a type of bird, I believe, but it's very kind of interesting. And when I saw this picture, and I wish I knew the name of it, and I can actually find out real quick, but this is what I imagine they thought dragons were.
Yeah, no, I agree, because it makes sense because it's flying. And it has, what is that movie? They've made like a few of them with like,
it looks like the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon.
That's exactly what he looks like.
The head of it looks just like, I wish I can't remember the dragon's name. I want to say it's Spike, but I don't think it is.
I don't know. That was kind of that when that animation was coming out, I was kind of older, so I wasn't into it as much.
I know, I saw it like somebody, I think I had like a girl make me watch it or something, or maybe it was my ex. I can't remember.
The things the Reverend does, huh?
Yeah. There was a point I hadn't seen like a lot of those movies, and so like everybody was making me watch them. So I watched like maybe, I swear, like 20 Pixar or Disney movies in the span of like 2 months. I was like overloaded.
No,
but yeah, so that's really, this guy's really cool. And then this other one if it's the video, I can't remember which one I chose, but oh yeah, I want to know, like, this is wild shit,
Is he
honestly.
trying to attract a gator?
Yeah, just wait. So for the people that are just listening to this guy has what I'm assuming is a leg of lamb.
Neat, yeah.
And he goes to some water and he just slaps the leg of lamb on the water. And this giant gator comes running at him, not slow, very quick. And he just is very kind of casual, dropping in its mouth. And this honestly just like, just leave it there.
I really, and I'm not a fan either, looking at the video, right? Like, the one thing is, I think alligators are faster in water than they are on land. So the guy is kind of being smart by being on land. It's interesting is he's barefoot, and the water is that like green moss algae film that develops on top. And I don't like going barefoot on that kind of water anyway. And like the mud he's on, like, why are you even there in the first place?
Well, I think this is like some sort of gator enclosure.
It looks with the fence behind it looks, but you do go down to like Florida.
I mean, this guy's got some major league Tiger King vibes.
Yeah, and like that could be a canal down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it very well could.
It's an interesting, but the fence, yeah, it could be an encounter for sure. No, that's some cool shit in nature.
It was some very cool shit in nature. I'm trying to see that bird is the great-eared nightjar.
Okay.
So I've never seen a bird look like that before. So it was kind of cool. It was some cool shit seeing that. So,
well, I'm gonna jump back in. I'm gonna kind of finish off the southwestern Montana a little bit and just kind of top off some things that there is to do down there, and then work my way over into central Montana. But like if you take the Highway 93 going south from Missoula down, it's called the Bitterroot Valley. It's a very beautiful valley. That's where, like I said, they filmed Yellowstone. People really like the Bitterroot. A lot of people from California moving there recently. Prices have gone skyrocket in that area, in that region. There's some good hot springs, especially there in Lolo. Then there's also a town called Dillon, and down there there's some nice, good outdoorsman stuff kind of going on. But it kind of has a weird frontiersman vibe, old town. That's where Lewis and Clark saw Beaverhead on their journey. But the reason I bring up Dillon is it's a good stopping point for when you're going from Bozeman. And I would say if you have the opportunity, go from Bozeman to Dillon and then Dillon up to Missoula and take that, if you can, take that Bitterroot Valley, because you're going to get a really scenic drive. But when you're over there, there's also towns like Virginia City and Ennis. And those are some of those Western cowboy towns, where Calamity Jane and folks like that went. And in the summer, they got a lot of tourist activities going on. And just fun kind of stuff. When we were kids, we panned for like sapphires and rubies because you could find them here, and just stuff like that. That's really fun. Three Forks is really cool. You have the Lewis and Clark Caverns over there, the headwaters of the Missouri where all three rivers come together. Helena, you can tour the capital. That's an old mining town. People like to check out. There's plenty. I mean, there's anywhere you go in this state, there's plenty of outdoor activities. There's going to be a body of water to get on, whether it's a river or a lake or a mountain to get into, especially if you're in the western or central area. And with that, you get a lot of ski resorts too. So I'm not a big skier, but I know like my brother Josh is getting big into it, and
I mean, some people it is very big. Again, I'm not. I've never skied. I've only snowboarded, but it didn't turn out very well for me. So
yeah.
I'm just not into it, mainly because I don't have great access. But
Right? No, I mean, I get you. You're in Oregon, where like even then, like think of Portland, like you really only can go skiing at Hood. Yeah, you can go down to Bachelor and whatnot, but that requires a little more planning.
or Hoodoo's the other one.
Okay. I didn't see. I
That
didn't even
one's that one's close to Bachelor though.
Okay. Well, it makes sense because of those mountains there. But like you don't have mountain like you have the Cascades and like Cascade volcano mountains versus like
Yeah.
mountain ranges where here you have Big Sky, you have Bridger right out of like the Bozeman area. If you're in Missoula, you can go to Showdown or Lookout Pass even has right there at the Montana Idaho border. There's a ski resort. Marshall Mountain, um, Big Mountain up in Whitefish area. That's another good one. People like to go over by Helena. You have Great Divide and Discovery Basin. Showdown is also kind of there. Great Falls area. Great Falls is also a cool area to check out in central Montana because you have like the falls of the Missouri, the Great Falls. You have the Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center. And that's about it for Great Falls. No. It's not that great. There's the Air Force Base, Maelstrom Air Force Base. So a lot of people actually get familiar with Montana because of that. That's where a lot of our nukes are, America, just so you know. So when you're driving around Great Falls, you see a lot of military
I was
cars.
wondering why there was an Air Force base in Montana. It doesn't seem super strategic unless we get in a tiff with Canada.
It's actually probably one of our most strategic Air Force base because it's where it's located. I think you can get planes out, and it controls a lot of our nukes.
Yeah, the nukes is why it's there, but
it's mainly for Russia if you think about, because you're not going to go east or west to get Russia. You can go north over the North Pole.
well, that's why there's Air Force bases in Alaska.
Yeah, well, there's Air Force bases everywhere in this country,
but a lot of the ones in Alaska are shut down after the Cold War. But so that's all for Western Montana.
Yeah, and I kind of was getting into central there with Great Falls, Helena, and then Bozeman area.
Yeah, I noticed that, but we wanted to make sure we knew that we're more central now.
Yeah. No, and there's like Canyon Ferry Lake's a really cool lake to go. It's big lake, big walleye tournaments, happen there. Hauser Lake. You have plenty of that. There's 47 state parks in this state. Plenty to do. When you're in that central region, you do have like Lewis and Clark Caverns, the Madison Buffalo Jump, the Missouri Headwaters, Spring Meadow Lake, Tower Rock, First Peoples Buffalo Jump, Ackley Lake, good trout fishing. And then like you even have the Gray Cliff Prairie Dog State Park right off I-90, when you're driving to Billings, if you want to see some prairie dogs. But,
this part of the state is always kind of interesting to drive through because it's really kind of like the true transition from mountains to prairie, where you're still in the mountains, but it's really starting to open up a lot more.
Yeah, and what I like about that, you really do a good point, because it is kind of especially like you really could cut it in half, like Great Falls, Billings up, and like your Bozeman, Livingston, like even Livingston kind of falls in this, but like your Bozeman and Helena kind of are over that first mountain ridge, I would say, or that first mountain pass. And they're kind of tucked away in the mountains, but they still have these like larger valleys, which gives you honestly that true Montana feel where it's like the mountain turns to the prairie and it just goes. When you're driving, like I always like, one of my favorite drives is when you're looking down that road you would take, if you're in Whitehall, Montana, you could just get over that pass and you come out and you see the mountains. They go right to the Big Hole River kind of, and where it forms, and just the cool shit that they have. A lot of hot springs in this area. You got like Chico, Norris, White Sulphur, Seiko's over in eastern Montana. You have Big Sky, the Big Sky ski resort, Big Sky, the whole festivities behind that, in West Yellowstone, the tourism, Gardner. I would even throw Red Lodge in Cook City into the mix because of where they're located, but they actually kind of fall into eastern Montana because of how you get there. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do. Again, like I said, there's a lot of outdoor stuff. You'll never be disappointed with outdoor stuff. All these mountains, the crazy mountains, the Bear Paw Mountains, the Beartooth, the Bighorns, the missions, all of them are going to have stuff to do, stuff to climb. In Butte, right? You're going to be able to climb up to, there's Big Mary on the mountain. You can climb up to her or take the road up the back. Or if you want to get really, like, I think too, the other thing about the central and eastern side, when you get up past, like Glacier Park and past Great Falls into that northern kind of category of Montana, that's what they call the High Line. It becomes your ranches. And I'm not talking like, that's a 40-acre farm or a 40-acre ranch. It's 40,000-acre ranch. I was talking to Mike Diggins. Mike Diggins. He's the rancher up in eastern Montana on the High Line. And he's like, yeah, I don't like when people are cutting my fences, whatnot. And we were just talking. I was like, yeah, but that's what happens when you own all the land, because he owns 38,000 acres up there. And you're just like, but I was also like, but also no one wants to own that land. Not yet.
Yeah, that's the size of ranch that like our buddy Mike works for too, or works on.
Yeah.
He works on those big where you're moving your cattle with horses, like real cowboy shit.
No, and exactly. And that, honestly, there's not a lot of places like that are left in this world. And some farmers and ranchers kind of act like, especially the smaller ones will act like they're kind of like not like that, but it's like, no, that old way is going away, because even these bigger ranches are starting to be bought out by corporations and being run like corporations, and just, it's really an interesting time, because one of my favorite things, and I'm starting to enjoy that Yellowstone series and that 1883 that's associated with it, because this land has really only been conquered essentially. And I say conquered because, they raped and pillaged the native peoples here, they were living here happily and fine. And they conquered it. And 150 years really isn't that long. It's my grandpa's parents, like that, like my grandpa, someone who, for 26 years has given me sage advice, who has been there with me, So a lot of this stuff is interesting, especially when you get to these more remote areas and how these remote people act. You get out to eastern Montana, you get people that they've never left eastern Montana. This is their farm that their family, they've had for 3, 4, 5 generations, and they're not fucking leaving it. And that's fine. It's the way of the world, but it is really kind of interesting how you get into these places in these areas. But there's also a lot of cool places to see. I also, what else was there? In Bozeman. So I'm going to stay in Central. I'm still kind of looking at my map here. And you have the museums there. And each town in Montana has its own like small museum. So like Deer Lodge has like a prison museum. There's car museums.
Yeah, if you've ever driven through Montana, you understand that the state of Montana thinks everything is historical. There's historical this, historical that, historical blah, historical blah. Everything is historical in that whole goddamn state. And the thing is, in the grand scheme of it, it's not even that historical, because exactly like he was saying about being conquered just a like stone throw away, like there's not a whole lot that's truly historical out there. So
No,
I always get a huge kick out of when I see historical, because it's probably not that historical.
No, it's like you get, and I want to say it was probably like the 70s or 80s. I think every town in Montana got like a grant to open up a museum.
Yeah, it probably, what happens is, if you name the water fountain historical, you could get a bunch of funding from the state or something.
Oh, and it's the state thrives on tourism, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah.
You drive that, but like you go to like these museums, it's like, I think too, part of it is like, that's the stuff that made it here. Like we didn't think we'd get a car here, but we did. It's not even a rare one, just a basic Model T. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
No,
but Central Montana, it's got a lot to offer. I mean, it's not far from Yellowstone, which we've gone over and probably will go over time and time again. But the area, like, I haven't spent a whole lot of time in, mainly because it's such a trek for me, is that Eastern Montana. I think the only thing I've really done in Eastern Montana is, what is it, Battle of Little Bighorn?
Oh, and then Pompey's Pillar, right?
Oh, yes, technically Pompey's Pillar. That's right.
So, but that, I mean, even then, both of those are close enough to the Rocky Mountain front, right? You can still see mountains from those locations.
Yes.
True Eastern Montana is, I can't see mountains.
Yeah.
And it is really cool. That's where like Thea is from. When I drive out to Wolf Point, you go through like all these places, and I'm looking at this map, and they mark one of the roads a scenic byway that I take. It's called you take Terry to Wolf Point. You're just driving through fucking farm fields. I don't know what's scenic about it. It is big sky though. You are getting the big sky. Eastern Montana, there are some hot springs, like up north in Seiko, you have that one. There's no real ski resorts unless you count Red Lodge, which I argue, when Billings and Red Lodge and the Beartooth get when they have good snow years, that's some of the best skiing in America is Red Lodge. And I be better than Big Sky even. But it depends on like the snow, because some years they call it Rock Dodge instead of Red Lodge.
Yeah.
So when they get enough snow, it's great. But like, if not, it's not.
Yeah.
But you really do get a sense for the old cowboy towns out here. You get a sense for the old cowboys too. There's a lot of good. You want to see some good rodeos, watch some of these small town rodeos in the summer, because that's the town's event. That's the one thing that small town of 1,000 people looks forward to every single year, because that's the only thing they got. And they're fun. Go up to Wolf Point, for Stampede. Well, when the rodeo's over, it's fucking drinking and partying and on Main Street. They close it down. How many towns can you do that anymore? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, rodeo culture is certainly an entertaining time.
And you get a lot of that out here. You have like Makoshika State Park, which is way East Montana, out by Glendive, which is really cool. It's the kind of the Badlands of Montana, as I'd call it. It's Montana's largest state park. Just different. You have like the dinosaurs out in Glendive, Sydney area. And that area has changed because of the oil. So you see a lot of like the oil wells, which is when people are interested.
Yeah, that's all I really know of Eastern Montana is it's oil, oil, oil.
But right now, it's weird. It's one of those up and down market,
Yeah, but I mean, that's where oil is,
No, exactly. It's where I think you have a lot, you have like, I would say, you have four reservations out this way if you want to see some good, like, true reservations. When you get out to like the North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, those are some of the most impoverished places in this country. And I think, we need to see it, because it's happening here. And it's how we take care of our own. Like you said, you have the Battle of Little Bighorn you can check out. There's the Bighorn Canyon. That's somewhere I want to take you. Just because it's really cool, and I think you'd be in awe. You have Fort Peck Lake, giant lake that they dammed up the Missouri River, and it made a huge lake. It's cool.
Where is that medicine wheel? Is that
it's actually in Wyoming.
Oh, so that's Wyoming.
It's in the Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're down there, go check it out.
Fair.
No, it's not a Montana thing. Billings has some good museums. You know, you have like the Western Heritage Center. It's the largest city in Montana. It also has the tallest buildings in a 5-state region: Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota. So,
And then that makes sense.
right?
It's
And they're
also the same. I'm pretty sure that's the same region that I saw they put all of the population of New York.
right,
Like New
yeah.
York City, like all of them, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, like all of them put together makes up the population of New York. So it makes sense that the tallest building in 5 states.
Well, and that's great. I mean, I like it. I do like the nothingness. I do like not a lot of people. It's nice. Um, Another cool thing that I think you would be interested in is, I'm not 100% sure if it is technically central or it is eastern, but there is the like Missouri River Breaks is what they call it. If it's BLM land. So it's on the Missouri. It's really where like you get those fingers, those like weird like coulees and ravines that are formed that kind of are by the river, and kind of the lake by it being dammed up like helped create.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you can raft, or you can like canoe it. Like you have to put in for a permit, and you can canoe it like they did in Lewis and Clark, and you camp at different spots on the Missouri. Like it's like a 3-4 day kind of adventure that you can do. You have to
That would
sign
actually
up.
be kind of cool.
No, it really, like where it's at, like the Missouri River Breaks is known for hunting, right? Some of the largest rams, elk, deer, I think even moose have been shot out of that area.
Oh wow.
And in the war, like in the world, like 300 score type stuff, like really good stuff. Fort Peck, great pike walleye fishing, like I was saying, it's a really cool lake to check out. And then like I said, all these little small towns have their like uniquenesses and the things that are dying. You took Highway 212 with me when we went to the Black Hills those couple times. That road. That's an interesting road on your way. You can get to Devil's Tower, which is in Wyoming, but
Yeah, it's good. It's good time though.
yeah, it's a cool place. Like I said, Eastern Montana, not a lot, but it's one of those places I want to take you because I grew up out here. Man, there's just so much, like when you are in like these nature places where you break your leg out here, Mark, I'm sorry, but you might die because like, yeah, and I'm overreacting, right? But it's like, that's the kind of help you have out there. It's just you and nature. Like,
Yeah, I know that feeling for sure.
yeah.
But I got to be that guy.
Of course you do.
I got to be that guy. We are getting to the end. I know everybody listening is like, that was a lot very quickly. And we could obviously have kept going in more detail of all 3 of these sections and more. So do not fret. We will have more in depth in the future weeks here soon about each of these sections and all of the cool stuff that we have in them, and we'll break it down even more. We will break down a breakdown. It's like a twofer. It's even better.
Well, what I like about that, and what we do good, what I really appreciate, because like I say, I listen to the podcast, is you and I, when we do this, like we can plan it out. Like, hey, we're flying into Bozeman, we're hitting central Montana, and we're leaving Bozeman. We have 5 days. Here's some cool things we want to do in those 5 days. Boom. We're over here in Missoula, Flathead. Boom. We're over here in Billings, because Mark's got to see it all.
Yeah. But it is time for the final words. Final words, my guy.
All right, guys. I just want to say, thank you for listening this far. I got the hiccups. But I really do appreciate those who do listen to the final words, and I hope you guys get something from this. Kind of the point that we have them. But we do really, really appreciate you guys, and thank you. On the Instagram, I'm almost at 3,000 followers. That's my Jeep. 3,000 people like my Jeep, follow my Jeep. I love it. I'm happy. It's more than my own person that has. You know what I mean? I love that every week we can count on you guys being here, listening. It just makes me happy to hear. And I love telling our stories. I love sharing these experiences, because 150 years ago, this land I'm sitting on was untamed. The white settler, the foreign settler, the whoever was moving west because of why they don't want me in New York. I got to go west. They don't want me here. I got to go west. I lost the Civil War. I'm a Confederate general and I got to go west, because I want that new life. I want to be treated equally. I want my family to be treated equally. That was just 150 years ago. And here we are, we're talking to each other on Zoom in these locations. You're in Oregon, the land these people were trying to get to. I'm in Montana, the land that they had to go over the mountains to get to Oregon. People died here. They gave their lives for something like that. And it's just crazy that in an instant, we just forget about it, move on, because society does that. It paves right over it all. I was talking to Jared and I said, you look around, you look at the things we build, they're gray, they're black, they're not natural colors, right? We're the disease on this earth. You look at your body. What colors do the things turn? Blacks, blues, grays, that's the disease eating it up, killing it, dying it. What are we on planet Earth? Go look at New York. That's not green and blue, that's gray and black. So just think about that, guys. All right, Reverend.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Reverend's final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you that listens to all of these all the way through. Hopefully you do learn a little bit here and there. I know I do. Mainly through the cool shit in nature, but no, I learned stuff from all of it. But just go out there, try and get the body moving. Go out, whether it's 4,000 steps, 10,000 steps, whatever. Just go out, get the body moving. Hopefully in nature, because that's always a plus. If you can, please make sure you subscribe, follow all of the podcasts on the YouTubes, on the Spotifys, on the Apples, on the Googles, on the whatever, wherever you listen to podcasts, like it and subscribe it there. Especially Spotify right now, you can rate it. Hopefully you can give us a 5-star. We'd appreciate it. Helps with all the things and gets us going up. But that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.